It's quarterfinal time in Wuhan for the women, and we have 8 big players left in the draw. Iga's still there, Sabalenka as well, Coco Gauff trying to spoil the party with Rybakina. They're 4 of the big names, but you never know. It could be anyone for the title.
That's right, JG. We're into the quarterfinals of our WTA 1000, and I am very happy that we have those big names in there. But there are some names we didn't expect to be there. Laura Siegemund, she seems to be having a fantastic year. She's maybe the Rybakina of the women's tour. And we also have Siniakova as well. She seems to be having a great tournament, and she'll be playing Jess Pegula in the quarterfinals. But only one place to start, I think, and it was Iga Swiatek, and she continues that crazy run in Masters 1000 events where she wins the first set, she wins the match, and it happened yet again today against Belinda Bencic, and in doing so, Iga now becomes the 9th player to reach the quarterfinal or better at all 10 WTA 1000 tournaments. And she's with some illustrious players there. Halep, Kerber, Kuznetsova, Kvitova, Radwanska, Rybakina, Sabalenka, Wozniacki. Pretty impressive, huh?
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if she's the favourite or they're still going for Sabalenka, because I believe Sabalenka is very good at this event, right? Historically, she won it maybe 3 times already. You'll have to verify that, but I know Saba does well in China. I think in this event too. Iga probably wouldn't be the favourite. I think Saba would be with the bookies. But it is between those two. Oh, apologies. So she's won it. Oh no, she has won it 3 times. Go down. Yeah, she's won it 3 times. She's trying to do it 4 times in a row. With Iga, she was trying to do this at Roland Garros, and Sabalenka ruined it for her. So it's interesting to see, will Iga ruin it for Sabalenka? I think it will be quite fitting to have them two face it off for the title. But maybe it's not going to happen because there's so many names to choose from. Paolini and Rybakina, I mentioned them in the intro. They're my soft spots on the women's tour. I think I've got Paolini as maybe like a top 5 player in my prediction. And I think I've got Rybakina as like a 3 or maybe a 3 or a 4. So I think I've got them very highly in my estimation. So I'd love to see one of them win it just for my rankings. But yeah, I find it really tough to even say and make a big prediction, because you can make a case for, I would say, 6 of the 8 players. These 6 you've got.
Exactly. And you can see there, Sabalenka and Iga, equal favourites coming into the quarterfinals at 3s. Coco
Surprises
Gauff,
me. I thought Saba would be edging it slightly.
I would have thought so too. Coco Gauff is the 3rd favourite at 5s. Rybakina 7.5. Pegula 11s. Paolini 15s. Siniakova 23. And Siegemund 34. I would say, even based upon performances in this tournament as well, I've been slightly more impressed with Sabalenka. I know that may be slightly controversial because people are going to say, come on, Iga just beat Bencic straight sets. But I wasn't that convinced. There's still some dodgy shots coming off the racket of Iga earlier on today. And she did make hard work of Bencic, despite Bencic did play quite well. But I expect Iga to beat a Bencic convincingly when she's in good form or really good form. And this was a little bit of a struggle. She was getting broken at big moments. She had to fight her way back into the sets and then win the match. But ultimately, she still did win in straight sets. And Sabalenka won even more convincingly in her match against Samsonova. And I think Sabalenka winning it 3 times in a row, she has to be above her in the odds for me. I don't see how Iga could be level based upon her past in this event. I think you have to put that. It's obviously like a court that suits Sabalenka. She wouldn't have won it 3 times otherwise.
Yeah, but it's just like what happened with Dimonor and Daniel Medvedev on the men's. It's because
Mm,
of the draw.
yeah,
Sabalenka will be playing Rybakina in the
true.
next round,
Very
and that
true.
is exactly why. Because on this court, I've just seen now some stats. Sabalenka's 19 wins, 0 losses at the event, playing her fourth Wuhan. I've already mentioned she's got the free peak. She's trying to go for 4. But Rybakina is a dangerous player for everyone. I don't think she's dangerous for just like
Very good.
Sabalenka. I think even with Iga, it doesn't matter who you are. Rybakina can beat everyone on the tour. I think we'll agree on that.
Yep.
They've played. I don't know if you've got this stat, but I'll send it
Sure.
to you if you don't have it. It's 7-5 for Sabalenka. So they've played 12 times. And this year, they've split their winnings. So they've both beat each other. But the last meeting, Yelena beat Rybakina at Cincinnati. So if you want to read a little bit into that, then potentially Rybakina could
Mm,
do it again. I think it's a wise bet, and I think that's why it answers our question as to why Sabalenka's not the favourite for this tournament because of this it waiting in the wings. I feel if she is to get through this and Iga's to get through her match, then Sabalenka will become the favourite.
definitely a very tough match, isn't it? Rybakina, they would each look at the draw, and that would be the person you were trying to avoid always. And
Yep.
especially when she's in form, she looks very good. She just beat Linda Noskova, and that's not an easy person to beat right now. That's someone who took out Naomi Osaka in straight sets, coming like through earlier in this tournament. And I just think that Rybakina, she could beat Sabalenka. I think she's a real threat right now. Sabalenka will be looking at her, and she's got to be scared about the serve, because I think that the way that Rybakina's playing at the moment, the ball striking from the back of the court, Sabalenka's going to have a lot of pace side to side and be able to get balls back in play. Because if she can't, these rallies are going to be quite short. And well, we've seen how many winners Rybakina can hit, and that includes the aces as well. Yeah. Anyway, we've also got on that top side of the draw. Let me just have a quick look. It is Siniakova versus Pegula would be the potential semi-finalist for either of those two, and I think you'd agree they would be the favourites going in to that semi-final.
Yeah, and there's a lot at stake for 3 of the players left in Wuhan. I don't know if you want to bring up the live WTA race because
Sure.
we've got 4 players already confirmed. So Sabalenka, Iga, Anisimova, Coco, Gauff. No big surprises with them 4. Then you've got it's between Pegula, Keys, Mira Andreeva, Paolini, Rybakina, and one of them will miss out.
Yeah.
And it's very tight because Rybakina and Paolini still in this event. If, for say, one of them can go on and win this event, for me, they almost secure qualification for the WTA Finals, meaning one of the other players will miss out. So a lot at stake towards the end of the year. With the men's, I feel like we kind of know who's going to be there. And with Djokovic, not sure if he's even going to be playing, it opens it up even more. With the women, though, Alexandrova cannot no longer qualify. No shock. There is a big gap. But the big 9 or the top 9, it's extremely tight. Mira Andreeva's put herself at a big risk. Same with Madison Keys for not playing this event.
Yeah, I didn't even realize how close it was until you just
Unless
said
Keys is injured and she's not playing.
is possible, but it would be a real shame if you
I'll
didn't
have to
get to
check
see
that.
her or after playing such a good start to the year. I would be devastated for her, to be honest, because she deserves her place there. Obviously, being a slam winner in the year, you're definitely due a little bit of a luck come the end of the year. But if that's the way it plays out, then I think Paolini and Rybakina will be very, very happy. Obviously, Paolini, she didn't have to play the full match today, but I think it was credit to her. She was down a set against Towson. The second set, she came out fighting like you would expect her. I didn't expect it to be a straight set as Towson. Paolini came out, looked really good, 6-1 breadstick, and then it got to 3-1. She got the break in that third set, and that was enough for Towson. She was like, I can't go on. Yeah, so she just retired at 3-1. She was trying to see if she could stay on serve, and unfortunately she could not. And Paolini just shows yet again, she just always there, always fighting, always running everything down, just composed in a time of pressure, which I think that'll do her well in this next round as well, because none of the matches are going to be easy. It doesn't matter if they look like they're not the biggest names at the moment either. That's the one thing. Don't be fooled in. Look, we've seen on the men's side, we've had Vachereau going through to the
True.
semi-finals,
Yeah.
knocking out Holger Rune, and she is up against none other than, well, we've got Gauff against Siegemund. So don't read too much into that. But then we've got Iga against Paolini. And if you take into account what I said earlier about Iga's performance against Bencic, I think this is closer than people like the bookies may say, because I think they've got her at 4.5, Paolini.
So I've got a lot to say actually, based off what you've said. The first one being, why are you saying so many great things about Paolini, which we already know, yet you never had her inside your top 10? Why are you flying the flag for Paolini here on this episode and bigging her up, saying about her character and the never die attitude and her talent, but yet you never considered her as a top 10 player at the start of the year?
Well, I'm glad that you
Because
are.
she showed this last year in abundance. So your theory was that she wasn't going to be able to produce this same level of results and resolve we saw last year into this year.
Exactly.
But yet, if you know anything about her, that is exactly what you're going to get. She is pretty consistent.
But then that's what, if you look back through the history of her career, she had never done a season like that before. So how would we ever know that she would replicate it again? So that was it
So
was
are you
almost
surprised she's been able to replicate it this year?
yeah, I was. I thought maybe she wasn't going to be able to. Maybe the tour would catch up. Maybe they would learn like her game. But it turns out that she has proven herself just to be consistent. Like she's constantly improving as well, I think, with the mental side of her game. That is the one thing that a lot of players could fall off because the pressure gets to a lot of people. Doesn't seem to get to her as much though.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to challenge you on is
Go
you
on.
saying the bookies odds for the next match and how you think it could be a winnable one. Unfortunately for Paolini, she's meeting her kryptonite.
Yeah.
Iga is a player who I feel she can't beat, and probably one of the only players I feel like this. Maybe a little bit with Sabalenka too, but she just doesn't have it against an Iga. And I've watched the matches now. I can recall 3 occasions, and it looked like a real golfing class in all of these ones. I just feel like Iga's game style versus a Paolini is the worst matchup for her. And that's why they've played 6 times and Iga's won every match. So she's won all 6 of them. It is a real mental block for her, physical block. She just struggles to reach the heights. And I think that's why the bookies have it the way they do. Because if you would have watched some of their matches, I think we watched one of them together. Then you would see that it has shades of let me think. It has shades of like a Gauff Monfils,
Knew you were going to say
Novak
Calma.
Djokovic, or like a Manarino. No, so like a Gasquet Nadal.
Oh, okay. I was going to say there was always a couple. Always the French players you're naming.
Or a Ben JG, you could say, like a bit
Oh,
like a Ben JG. There's just never
you're
really
a bit like an
a
Iga
chance for Ben.
style. I'm a bit more like a Paolini scampering around the baseline while you're pushing the ball into the corners. But yeah, I do know what you mean. The game styles, they aren't favourable for Paolini, and she does get bullied around the court. The one thing that I'd say on her side is it's similar to like an Alex de Minaur on the men's, to be honest. If she plays her consistent tennis and Iga doesn't play her top level and she hits it out and more unforced errors and gets in her own head, Pauline still just has to stick in there and she always has a chance. She's good enough, but I think she might just get in her own head a little bit. She needs to get out of her own. She needs to get out of her own head and just think, just go out there, have fun, and
Playing
do
Iga's
not
hard,
think.
man.
Yeah, I mean, she's
A
one
lot
of
of
the best.
players struggle, and Paolini is one of the ones who really doesn't like that matchup. But let's
Yeah.
get into some predictions anyway.
Yes, most definitely. So let me bring up the graphic. We'll save the big one till last. So I think we'll start with this one. Jess Pegula. She was the underdog against Alexandrova in the round before. I thought that was crazy. I picked her to win that one. She did win it. She's playing Siniakova. I expect Pegula to win this one, even though Siniakova has been good. I think her time has come to an end here. I think it'll be straight sets.
Yeah, we've not spoke about Siniakova. Experienced player. Obviously, we've seen her a lot in the doubles. I think her draw's been relatively nice.
Yeah.
I would say Diana Snyder's had a relatively disappointing year, considering we thought she was going to do extremely well. She
Yeah.
lost to her. We both had her inside our top 10. Doesn't look like it's going to probably happen.
Nope.
But she's beaten who's in front of her. She beat Iva Jovic in the round before. But this, I feel, is a baptism of fire in Pegula because she's a lot more consistent. The bookies have her at 1.44, which I think is actually good value. And I don't see a way in which Pegula doesn't win this one in straight sets.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think the quality is definitely there. Let us know how you see that one going in the comments. We will go to the next one. Let's go with Iga versus Paolini next. Do you want to go first on this one?
Now you go first. We'll do alternate like always.
I'm going to go Iga in 3. I think Paolini is going to grab a set this time, and it will show that she's actually improving, but Iga's still too strong.
Yeah, unfortunately, more of the same. I've already alluded to it. I think it is her kryptonite, the match he doesn't like to play. Iga will win this one in straight sets. But I am cheering for Paolini. I want her to win, but I don't think she will.
There you go. Next up, we haven't really spoken about either of these, but we'll just give them a quick run through. Laura Siegemund and Coco Gauff. Obviously, Coco Gauff came through against Chinese player Shui Zhang, beat her pretty convincingly. Hasn't had a tough draw. Uchijima, Zhang, now Siegemund. Great draw for Coco Gauff. I think she beats Siegemund in this one. I'm going to go straight sets.
Well, I've got a little bit more to say about it because
Ooh.
they had a really big match at the US Open in 2023. And I was reminded of it by a tweet I saw, someone tweeting it out. Siegemund having a fantastic year. She's 37 years old, but yet we're seeing some high level from her in Grand Slams. We've been speaking about her endlessly, more than usual. And I don't know. I feel Coco Gauff, like you say, has not really been tested. So I am maybe predicting an upset. I'm going for Laura Siegemund to win the match in 3.
Okay, I didn't see that one coming, but
No,
that's
I have a feeling about it.
right.
Do you remember
Well,
that? Do you remember what was the Grand Slam when she was doing really well? Was it Wimbledon or US Open?
I
And
believe
every single round, I was saying she's going to go out, she's going to go out, and then she kept winning. Now I'm going for her.
now
She
this is where
sold
she
me.
goes out.
Maybe.
Anyway, and save the best till last. There we go, the big one: Sabalenka versus Rybakina. She's going for the four-peat, if you can say that, and Rybakina looking to spoil the party. For me, I think we're going to have a party spoiled, to be honest. And I think
Ooh.
Rybakina is going to spoil the party and beat Sabalenka, but it will be in 3 very hard fought sets.
Yeah, this is the tightest one to call, and I'm glad we've left it till the end. Bookmaker wise, we've got 1.67 Saba, 2.2 Rybakina. Rybakina won the last one. They played 12 times. Sabalenka leading the head to head. She's obviously on a great streak. Sabalenka. She won the US Open. Beat Samsonova quite comfortably, and she's playing well. You can make a case for either, and I think this prediction's up in the air. You've gone Rybakina. Yeah. I'm also going to go Rybakina as well because I want her to win marginally more than Sabalenka, and I think it will be 3 sets Rybakina, but I'm not convinced on that at all. And if Gary's listening, I'll be pleased if Sabalenka wins just for him.
There you have it. There are the predictions. Tell us yours in that comment section below. And if you haven't done so yet, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll bring you some reaction coming up probably later on tomorrow night. We're going to have men's semi-finals to talk about as well, and probably the women's semi-finals too.
Yeah, and Djokovic did go through, so he's marching on into the draw. And maybe we'll speak about the logos for tennis players, because Alcaraz is set to announce his, and Yannick Sinner as well. So a lot to speak about towards the end of the year. Six King Slam coming up. But for now, like and subscribe, and we'll bring you another podcast, hopefully tomorrow.
See you there.